Welcome to Death on Clare Island, Chapter 14, C. I spent a few minutes walking around town to locate the Wagon Wheel Pub, but with no luck. Confident that I would find it at a later date, I went back to French Hill Cottage and fell into bed for some troubled sleep. Later, I woke to the sound of a light rain and lay there listening until it was time to get ready for the gala. Wear the maroon dress. Aunt Georgina's words lingered in my ears as I draped the silk material over my head, smoothed my hair in place, and donned my heels. 40 minutes later, Lorcan parked his hybrid SUV in Healy's car park and escorted me into the brightly lit ballroom. Chandeliers rained droplets of light that bounced back from Waterford crystal vases and lanterns tucked into corner nooks, mantelpieces, and serving tables throughout the room. An indecipherable mix of music and voices ebbed and flowed like the servers who silently floated through the room offering sparkling wine and hors d'oeuvres. For the moment, any thoughts of finding Sharon or Raymond in the crowd were spoiled by the overwhelming rush of people who came to speak with Lorcan when we arrived. He kept his arm casually draped around my shoulders as he exchanged pleasantries and introduced me to everyone. Strange, isn't it? I'd never guessed how popular Lorcan seemed to be. The litany of cordial welcomes and invitations streamed as freely as the champagne. Before long, I felt as if I'd always been part of this community. As the flow of newcomers entering the room forced us to move further inside, I spotted Aunt Georgina and Lorcan's mother at one of the tables. They were busy arranging the auction items: outdoor grills, Waterford crystal, lamps, jewelry, golf shoes, vacation tickets to continental Europe, and framed paintings. Excusing myself, I made my way over there. "I'm so happy you were able to join us," Lady Marcella said, squeezing my shoulder and smiling. "Lorcan told me about your unfortunate accident in Dublin." Then she leaned closer to me before continuing in a hushed tone. "And you're not the only one. Sharon mentioned that something similar happened to her in Dublin this week. No wonder she's so peckish lately." Lady Marcella was then interrupted by someone heaping praises concerning the event. "Excuse me, Star," she said a moment later. "I see the manager over there and I want to ask him for another table." Then she waved at a figure across the room and glided away. Aunt Georgina was continuing to tidy more of the prizes while Lorcan showed up with 2 glasses of champagne in his hands. "I hope you like this," he said as he handed one to me. "Thank you," I replied, not wanting to explain that I don't drink alcohol. But on a positive note, the glass gave me something to do with my hands other than attack my phone while I looked around the room for signs of Raymond or Sharon. "Have you ever been to a fundraising auction?" Lorcan asked as he picked a bacon-wrapped scallop from the tray offered by one of the servers. "No, I'm usually too busy with my business." I thought for a minute before explaining further. "In the work I do, socializing and business don't mix well. Some of the people who employ me wouldn't want to bump into me at a social function." Looking around, I continued with, "Speaking of which, have you seen Raymond or Sharon?" "No." Lorcan's eyes surveyed the room as if to confirm his answer. My eyes followed his, and for just a moment I thought I spotted Peter across the room. I wondered why he hadn't mentioned the gala. "Is that Peter Hughes over there by the door?" I asked. Lorcan raised his eyebrows, turned to observe the door, and then mouthed the word "no," just as the loudspeaker boomed to life and the auction began. The crowd pressed together to focus on the auctioneer, and I lost sight of the man I thought was Peter. The evening's business took off like a rocket, and soon all efforts at conversation stopped as people began bidding and showing off what they'd won. My disappointment at not seeing Raymond or Sharon was short-lived because I got caught up in the excitement radiating throughout the room. Hours later, I found myself holding a 1937 edition of On Another Man's Wound by Ernie O'Malley. It was about Ireland's turbulent fight for independence from the English, and I'd won it for just €150. Lorcan, meanwhile, had acquired an old set of surveying tools that he proudly displayed to everyone, commenting that they'd be a great addition to his workshop. I hope you had a good time tonight, Lorcan said as we pulled up at the front gate in front of my cottage. Surprisingly, I had to admit to myself that I did. I really enjoyed the gala's atmosphere of camaraderie and chatter to support a fine cause. You were right, I said to Lorcan. It was fun. Thank you for including me. He smiled, his blue eyes twinkling. I wondered what I'd do if he tried to kiss me, but it didn't happen. Instead, he got out of the car, offered his hand as I climbed from the passenger side, and escorted me to the back door. Good night, Star. Sleep tight, was all he said. After he drove away, I stood in the kitchen for a few minutes, watching the lights of his car pick their way up the drive to the McHale estate. I also wondered about his and Dylan's curious relationship.